Greetings, fellow beavers. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Timberborn 1.0. Episode 18, Planning Around Badtides. So as long as I'm allowing it to flow east, I also allow it to flow south. I don't have a separate floodgate for that. I could build one. I just haven't bothered. So I didn't think it was all that necessary. It does give my bombers... Well, actually, my bombers don't get wet fur yet. They haven't touched water in this area because they're just setting from above. Okay, bad tide is flowing again. Unpause, unpause. And then once we have a little bit of bad water stockpiled, I'll return to making extract and explosives. So the water level in the main river is now... It really hasn't started to fill up much, because water is being diverted in a lot of different directions to fill up supply. But yeah, it's going to start going up soon, once things fill up elsewhere. Oh, and... There we go. My guess is they tunneled a lot. Because I'm, very low on... Yeah, I was going to say, I'm very low on planks. And each tunnel section is 6 planks. So that's where all my planks went. I do like how they can hold their breath. Because, building a tunnel like this, if they couldn't, would be really rough. You'd have to keep it dry. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to do. I would just had to have engineered it beforehand for that reason. So I will be putting the throttling valve here once it's done, so that I can control the flow. I don't need to put it in just yet until the two sections connect. Wow, that was not a lot of water. Main river is now at 0.75. Obviously, it's filling up over time. But yeah, we're getting to, I would say, mid-late-ish game, where my droughts are going to be more frequent and my, like, pleasant cycles are going to be shorter. My main concern, interestingly enough, is just, like, how much bad water I have available to me. Because a lot of my projects require bad water, and I might need to invest in a bad water rig if it's going to be a continual limit problem. The bad water rig allows you to seal a bad water source and then to employ people to extract bad water. So the problem that I'm having right now is, because of my frequent droughts, I don't have access to a lot of bad water, but I could put a bad water rig here, stopping bad water from coming out of here forever, and then allowing me to tap that as a source of water, or bad water, even in drought times. That might be worth it. The other thing is because the only issue with that is if I did that, I would need to divert this bad water drain or bad tide drain away from here, because otherwise this would flood during bad tides. Whereas this source is like further from the center of the map, so it's harder to get to, but because of the higher elevation, it wouldn't flood during bad tides. But that might be something I have to consider if these droughts keep stopping my bad water collection. Because yeah, that's going to be an issue. But yeah, the main river is now fill. Our water supply is full. Cool. And because it doesn't hurt, I can have this. This is set to what point? This can be set to 0.9, and we can fill this up with water even though I'm not using it. Because like it doesn't hurt to have it filled. Anyway. All right, now that we are starting to get... Whoa, I have a lot more bad water than I thought. Now that we have a lot of bad water, let's go ahead and start making bombs and extract out of it. So as far as the valve goes, because I know you keep asking, the valve can go really anywhere. The valve can go here. The valve can go there. Don't worry about the valve. The valve is like a non-issue until much, much, much later for once all like the majority of the tunneling is done. Look how green the map is now. Oh, how is this not gone over? This is at 0.95. Oh, there it goes. I was wondering why this hasn't flowed over, but it is now. Green. Mega green. Alexadrol, thank you for the resub. Welcome. Oh, I know why. Because I was filling it up here. And, yeah, okay. That actually makes sense. That's where my water was going. I was pulling it. How's our tunnel coming? Oh, you also can just, like, tight or drag the visible layers, which is faster than the mouse wheel. So I think we stopped tunneling because it's far from district center, which is fine. If I wanted to continue tunneling from here, I could just build a path. But I'd rather be blasting the main hole for now. So I'm going to be using my explosives for this area instead. With the amount of water flow, are the water wheels still working to provide water? Not at the moment. With that said, I have 100% battery. My batteries are full. So it's kind of moot. I don't rely on moving water for power, really, at all. Could a sensor in the drink water measure all levels? No. If you're wondering if I stuck... so if your question was, if I stuck a stream gauge here, it would just raid 4 until I got to that level. It doesn't magically measure above it. So if I wanted stream gauges, I would need stream gauges at every 4 levels like that. And I'd have to do the math. There isn't like a 10 high or 20 high stream gauge or anything like that. If that was the question. Sweet. This is exactly the level I wanted to end at. Because then it will allow me to bomb out everything in this elevation. Right? Because now I have access to this elevation. And then once we're done bombing all this out from the edges, I can keep going down. So I'm excavating intelligently this time. I learned my lesson from this project. Something, 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 big brain. Alright, we have a lot of extract, so I'm going to pause extract in lieu of all the bad water being only for explosives. 27. This is nearly max duration drought. Our priority is, and survive... Oh. Build underwater farm irrigation and survive drought. This is just about as bad as droughts get on hard mode. 3 days shy of the max, if I'm not mistaken. Does the Badwater pool fully dry up? It should. Because these are depth 1. So like after 20 days, they should be dry, if I'm not mistaken. And this might be a case where I will need a second depth pump. But I have plenty of planks and wood to build one, so I'm not going to do it right now. It's not that urgent. But what that would look like is it would be a pump at this depth. Right? I'll just leave it there. A pump at this depth. I'm not saying it should be in this spot in order to pump 4 down because this is 6 down. Treated wood be the limiter? Oh, speaking of tapper, let's get rid of the tapper. Yes, we have a lot of resin, and these pine trees that got tapped are already getting their resin back. Oh, except for there's a weirdness here. Yes, okay, let's fix that. I just noticed. These should be pine and stay pine. And this should be... Oh, that's a pine tree, and it should be an oak tree. Just little things, right? I'm also going to put more people back on research because I do think we're going to want the Badwater rig. I think as these droughts get longer and longer, I will hit Badwater walls. Oh, speaking of Badwater, let's fire them. I'll hit walls of how much progress I can make due to my reliance on the Badtides bringing the Badwater. So, I think I need to build the rig, like I was saying. Get one of these Badwater rigs, set it up there, and then divert the bad water that comes out of here away. I could even hypothetically, and this is kind of crazy, but use the dirt I have so that I create like an alternative path for this bad tide water. Where like, this is just a hypothetical, but like we build up a aquifer so we reroute it around the edge of the map and then dump it here. It would be, again, another mega project, but the vast majority of that mega project is just dirt. It's not complex goods or anything. And it would allow us to keep this as clean water all the time. Potentially. But that's not what we're working on right now, so I'm not going to focus on that. Okay, so now that we're at this level, this is the explosives I laid out here are the more urgent ones, because this is the area I cannot reach from the edge. So this needs to blow up first. And the beauty is, I can blow this all the way down to the lowest level, and then once that's all blown up, I can blow all the rest of it down to the lowest level. So this is perfect, in other words. I did no notes. That's how we do it. Yeah, the Badwater dome can only open and close. It doesn't let you grab water, whereas the Badwater rig lets you grab water. 1 hour gives you 40 water, right? So we'll get injured, but, you know, that might be a must. Can you reach diagonally below input gates? Yeah. Diagonals are no problem. Too bad you can't dam up the cliffs. I mean, that's the whole point, is you're not supposed to. It's supposed to be a challenge. The question, I think in terms of cost, if I want to access this as a water source, the easiest, so the Well, I'll get the research unlocked first, but the easiest would just be to build up, like, dirt around it to divert the bad tide water away so that we can work here without getting sick. And then just a zip line from, like, to add this to loop out further or something. Blow up the edge of the map. I could do that too. That'd be an alternative. So what you're asking, what you're proposing is something... Actually, that might make more sense. Is to build up like this, where there's enough volume, and then just to sluice it off the side of the map. Actually, that might be... I mean, it's cheese, but that would be the cheapest solution. Question. Should I just dump the bad tide pipes off the map? Yes or no? Because, yeah, if we, like, just... It wouldn't take much, really. I mean, it would just be, like, a few bombs here, and then, like, a few soil, and then we just, like, shunt all the bad tide stuff that comes out this drains, like, off the side of the map and just be, like, done with it. It's honestly... It's pretty genius in its, like, low-tech solution level genius. I like it. I like it a lot. It's kind of hilarious to me. It's like, make it someone else's problem. And I see the yays coming in, so yeah, let's do that. I'm going to do this as a lower priority because it's going to take me a minute to get the science needed for the Bad Tide Dome. But yeah, I like it. It's a fun idea. We don't have a lot of bad water left, so I'm about to run out of my dynamite. Can do the same with the main water source, bad water diversion. You mean this stuff? I mean, hypothetically, yeah. But you don't... Oh. Bad water pumps like this aren't going to... It requires a lot less labor, and it won't injure your beavers. So in my opinion, it's way better to get your cheap bad water like this than it is to have to rig it. So I wouldn't divert these bad water sources. Because... it's also potentially a mechanical power source too. Not to mention that factor as well. All right, we are out of bad water. So we have enough bad water for 3 more explosives, and then I'll pause this thing. But yeah, you do want me to just dump it off the side of the map. Got it. Will do. So I'm going to have to assume a flow rate here. I'm going to assume that 2 tile width is going to be enough to handle the volume. Again, it is an assumption. I might need to make adjustments, but the assumption is that if we have... I'm laying out my dirt like an idiot. If we have a 2 wide diverter here, and then we just nuke to the side of the map, we'll be able to divert all this out. Again, that's the assumption. All right, paused. Oh, the main water source? Yeah, if you wanted to divert the bad water there, I guess you could hypothetically just dump it off the side. Hey girl, what's up? You know, to create a floodgate here. Like an alternative path to just dump it off the side. Personally, it's fine if it flows. Well, no, I mean, if we want to keep this clean water, it does make sense to divert that too, I guess. In the times of bad tide. So I understand what you mean. And we can do that as well. That maybe shouldn't be a terrain block though. Because it's would harm the flow. Yeah, something like that. Well, almost all the bombs for the initial explosions have been set, but we only have 6 more dynamite. So, we have hit our limit of progress until I have some new bad water source. What would happen if I placed water in front of the bad tide pipes? You know, I don't know. Maybe it would work. Actually, I can't. These aren't... I don't know what would happen if I did something like this, where, like, I box it up. I'm gonna guess it just kind of clips through and spills out. That would be my assumption. But you can't just, like, brick them up immediately. It's not placeable there, as you can see. Is the tunnel path expanded to the max? No, because I'm prioritizing this explosion first. So ready for the big bomb? Let's do it from here. Boom! Next explosion. Not that I have the explosives for it, but, you know, that's the eventual goal. One clip through, it will fill the space and stop. I'd rather have it flowing, knowing that I'm, like, diverting it, rather than, like, capping it. That's, like, too cheese. It's like, what level of cheese am I comfortable with? And I'll say, bluntly, if it's too cheesy of a solution, it's just not one I'm going to implement. It might be easier to force the bad tide here. So this is for the other path. All right. Well, we're out of extract. Where did our extract even go? Oh, they've been placing the extract for these explosives. Even though we don't have dynamite. Yeah, okay, yeah. That's where it went. I was like, how did we lose the extract too? But no, that makes sense. And we are almost a third of the way through this drought. I will try my best to keep the crops irrigated with this aquifer water. But it's a tall order because of how long this drought is, and we just don't have the infrastructure to really do that yet. But we did access the rig. So, if we want this rig to work without harming our beavers, obviously we don't have 200 treated wood, 150 metal, and 400 gears yet. But what we're really going to want to do is displace this, because the problem is I don't want to build the rig in a bad water source at the moment. So what we'll probably need to do to get this built is to platform here where we can safely place the things so we don't, like, die doing it. So if I mentioned this in previous streams, if your beavers spend time in bad tide water, they initially become sick, and then if you don't take it seriously, they eventually become contaminated. And contaminated can only be cured with medicine, and quite a lot of medicine. It is a lot of treatment that they will require in order to get, like, truly cured. So it's going to be a little tricky. One of the ways to do this, once we have more dynamite, is to just blast it so it's a little bit deeper so that the bad water doesn't pool here, allowing us to work in this area a little bit more safely. But for now, you know, setting it up so that we have a way to deliver materials here where we don't get, like, uber cancer would be nice. The other thing, interestingly, is we could just start filling it up. Like backfilling it. Actually, maybe I'll do that instead of these. And it won't work if it's flowing, but I do have 19 days to, like, kind of set this up. Is the workshop staffed? Not the planks. So if we want to start to collect the materials for this, let's get the wood workshop going. And then I will say the highest priority will be like this stuff here so that we can walk out to it. It also might be one of these situations where having a zip line to this area would be a good idea too. So it's not such a long commute. So if we're doing that, because obviously once this is a workplace, it's also going to be one of the situations where we are going to want to so I'm gonna block up the entryway to displace the toxic water, and then I will put it all back. But if we want this to be a workplace, we're gonna need a reasonable way to like physically get to this area. So having a zip line for this spot makes the most sense. So something like once this is all built up, where it displaces that water, we set up like a zip line here so that the people that work here can zip very easily to this location, making this loop a little bit larger, getting rid of this pylon, because this path sucks. All right, water level in the main river is 0.45. So now that we're like T-minus less than 20 days, let's try to fill up the main river. But like carefully so we don't lose too much water. Because we lost a little bit. Because it needs to like equalize with both sections and the flow rate here is low. So now we're at 0.65. All right, let's get the rig down. And now it's placeable. We can deliver materials to it without getting hurt. Now this will change, obviously, once this Badtide source underneath it is flowing, and that's when we pause the project. Because we won't be able to traverse here safely without getting contaminated. So we can only really work this in droughts. Once all the materials are delivered, our need for Badtide liquid gets solved for a bit. Okay, we are at water level 6.1. Lower this down a little bit. Try to bring it up to anything above 0.8, I think would stay irrigated. We might not actually have enough water in the aquifer. I'm not 100% sure. We'll keep letting it flow out slowly. Let's let the last of it go. There seems to be... Okay. We'll have about a day or two of no water in the main river. at the end of this drought, thereabouts. So we'll have some crop loss, but probably not like mass famine or anything like that. All right. So zipline station will go here. And the idea is it will put a pylon here. So this will connect to that, connects to this, connects to that, cutting this one out. And this is pathable, surprisingly, because we can walk here. Sweet. And materials are starting to be delivered to the Badwater rig. Got it. So we, for this rig, will need gears. Gear workshops are up. And we'll need metal blocks. Metal workshops are up. Scavengers never stopped, and that was actually a kind of a mistake because there's not been space to put the metal, and I failed to notice, but like, that's on me, whatever. Oh, also, I can also raise the water level here too. Hypothetically, I could try to like... No, it's not worth it, but there we go. That's the last of the water that I can offer the main river. So that got us to 65, so 65%. Actually, that might not dry up. I'm not 100% certain, but that might keep its water throughout. All right, in terms of projects, this one will be high, and then the stations will be highest. Actually, I'll set this to low. So I really want the station built. They're really not building it, though. One of the reasons all the... Actually, I'll pause that. All the metal blocks went to the rig, which became a problem. And then that is line obstructed. I could bomb here, but I don't have dynamite. Actually, you know, let's recover a little bit of dynamite. So one way to do this is... Well, actually, this is pathable. I'll just grab it from there. So all of this here will be lowest. We'll recapture the dynamite. And then for the line not to be obstructed, we just line 3 dynamite here. And hopefully that will allow us to blast this out. For it not to be obstructed. Because it was pretty close to... Oh, maybe like this. Let's try that. Worst case scenario, if this can't connect to that immediately, it's not a big deal. Because like this is still zipline pathable through this pylon. So it just dead ends. No biggie. As long as this gets built. And I'll go a little bit longer until this run connects fully. I know I'm over time. Is this pathable? No, it isn't. Which means they're just gonna place the dynamite that I recouped here somewhere else. Probably. Once they even grab it. If they can grab it. They should be able to. It's pathable. I don't know. We'll see in a minute. So 5 metal blocks. Oh yeah, we definitely have the metal. And some planks, and that gets done. I got so used to having a zip line close that the inefficiency of building this thing is like killing me. So that station needs to be built, and then this pylon needs to be built, and then we're good. I'm gonna also color my other line because they're two technically separate lines. So we have the red line and the yellow line. Okay, station's up. And then we're just waiting on this pylon. And then the speed at building this section will go up a lot, because it won't be so far from core. More dog treats. I'm so not used to listening for the noise for dog treat redemptions. Although it's a lot less effective while I play this game because my own camera is so tiny. Okay, 5 more metal and this is built. 3 more metal. We're also sitting on like a treasure trove of science now. How's our power? Power's fine. It's about half. Well, not even half. It's like 2/3. Neat. All right, zip lines up. Now it's way easy to deliver stuff in to the Badwater rig, provided that it's drought. Again, this is going to be have to be one of those things that we don't do during times of non-drought. And then also the other thing to notice is the last of the bad water that's puddled here is drying up because we are now 10 days in, or 20 days into the drought. So there's no longer any bad water anywhere on this map, as you can see. Has dried all the way up. Now the other thing is, will we need to... No, I don't think we'll need to lower this. I think when this can't reach water anymore, we'll have enough tanked water to easily last us the remainder of the drought. So it is probably an unnecessary thing to do. I'm going to venture a guess and say. And yep, this is pathable. Sweet. Is that enough? Nope. This block is, I think, what's blocking it. So as soon as this is blown, maybe it's a valid zip path. But they did grab the explosives that were down there and the extract that was down there and then put it back up. Awesome. As soon as they actually build this thing. Okay, come on. This is now high. Please, dynamite. Thank you. Beavers. No! It's still obstructed! Okay, yeah. Alright. Well, a little bit extra overtime for me to just engineer a solution. So I'll put a pylon here. I thought I could blast my way out of that problem. Clearly miscalculated, but that's okay. And that's our zipline routes. Once done. But in either case, this is now way shorter of a path as a result of having all the stations sitting here. It's interestingly a station we're going to need to disconnect during the flow of this, because this rig is not going to be built before the drought ends, and it will become dangerous because this will become submerged. In fact, it might even become disabled as a result of being submerged. More than likely that will happen. All right, one more plank, and there. Now we have clearance. So we have a full zip path all the way around, and this becomes a very short path. There's one other thing, is we're obviously going to need a dynamite here to get to the entryway. And one of the things I was thinking of, even after, like, so there will be a time when this isn't built yet, and this isn't done yet. I don't know. I might not need to blast an alternative path around here. Might be one of those, like, I don't need to worry about. That's a future problem. That's not an L problem. But, regardless, I think once the dirt's put down, that's where I'm going to end. Once we have, like, a clean loop. It's a good ending point. But this badwater rig is going to be a bit game-changing for us, so that we're not completely stopped when it's not flowing. And there isn't the... What's really interesting about this is, hypothetically, and I don't think it works when your population is of a certain... Because there's only 2 potential zones for bad water source, right? But because bad water can be pumped cleanly out of, you could hypothetically have a bad water rig producing bad water, tanking it, dumping it, and then pumping it into clean water, meaning that you could hypothetically generate clean water during droughts, but like the amount of clean water that you would generate would not likely allow you to support much of a population. I'm just saying it's hypothetically possible. Beavers still walking? Yeah, they're still walking because this path isn't finished. There's no... You can't get from here to there yet. The entryway for the zip line is here and only here. I placed it for the rig, not for this path, because the rig is what needs it. So I'm finishing the loop. You're getting ahead of yourself, pal. 4 more dirt and we would have been there. All right, now beavers will be zipping. Sweet. All right. Well, that, friends, is where I'm going to end the stream with a lot of extra overtime. Thank you for tuning in to Timberborn 1.0, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow beavers.